Welcome to the Creator Spotlight here on the Spotlight on Fightful. I am Steven Jensen, joined as always by Jeremy Lambert. And our guest today is a returning guest. She is the daughter of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, and the sister of the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Also, the daughter of Mama Rhodes. We're going to be talking about that a lot today.
That's
right.
A
lot going on. We are joined once again by Teil Rhodes. Teil, thank you very much. Thank you very much again for joining us. And how are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me again.
Absolutely. Not only do you have this stuff going on, obviously this is a humongous week. Your brother is main eventing both nights of WrestleMania.
2 nights.
Yes, this is awesome. I am wearing the Royal Rumble winner T-shirt right now. I am very stoked up, very stoked for this weekend. You also have a big stuff going on with the Dusty Rhodes Foundation WrestleMania weekend, and you also recently revived Turnbuckle Championship Wrestling. So you've been very busy, but just like in general, how have you been since the last time we talked?
Great. I feel like I'm busier now than I have been in a while, but it's all good stuff. But it seems like all the opportunities come at once sometimes. So it's been wild for the last couple, really since the Rumble. It's been crazy.
Yeah, I don't even know where we should start on this because there's a lot that I want to ask you about. Let's start with some of the positives right now. Okay, revival of TCW. That has gone great.
Yeah.
The feedback that I've seen, we had Scotty Riggs on the show recently. You've had some of the other people that appeared on the show as guests as well over the last couple of years. What's it been like reviving Turnbuckle Championship Wrestling?
It's been great. It's been surprising. I didn't ever see myself as a wrestling promoter, but I figured, how hard can it be? Boys do it, you know? Why not give it a try? Really, that's, QT has been heading that up, QT Marshall. And our first show was awesome. I was just telling Jeremy that we're looking to have the studio built out permanently at the Nightmare Factory. So hopefully we can be running a show once a month from McDonough, Georgia, which is where the Nightmare Factory is. And we're really excited about that. Our hope is that we can bring back some legends and always have a legends match, or what we call the TCW All-Stars, the TCW Originals. And, but yeah, it's not something I ever thought I would do. And I figured, why not now? It's such a great time with the indie scene really just thriving. And it's really important to give the students and some of the younger generation of talent somewhere where they can really learn their skill set and hone their craft. So when they, hopefully do get called up somewhere great, it's not, oh, well, he's not ready for TV or she's not ready for TV. That's something that you hear a lot when people first start. And, live TV is hard. But I feel like the more you work, the more shows you do, the better your chances are once you do get those bigger opportunities.
We've had a lot of Nightmare Factory students on the show over the past few years that we've been doing this, and like all of them just have glowing things to say about QT Marshall. I know he gets a lot of hate kind of online from fans, and part of that is his character, but like everybody in the business just speaks glowingly of him. So what is it like working with QT, and really like when this idea came together? Because I think the trademark for everything was like filed in November, and then I think people caught on of like, ooh, why is QT doing this? Where's this going? Yeah,
I think that he came to us first, and he was like, hey, I'd like to get the trademark again and just kind of see if we can do something with it. And he even talked to my mom, which of course he didn't have to do, but that was super nice of him. And he just felt passionately about it, and really that once the kids have done the camp, wouldn't it be great for them to have somewhere to wrestle? And he thought, because I was, there at the beginning of TCW with my dad, we've always kind of thought of TCW. It's a family show. It's a family friendly type event. And, there are definitely some promotions that do that. And then there are some that are more adult, and we're kind of for everybody. And that was his kind of focus, was bringing that back. And he's great to work with. QT is one of those people who really puts his money where, his mouth is. And did I say that wrong? I feel like I did.
No, that was
right.
right.
You said it right. Yeah.
Yeah. Which way did it go? But yeah, he really works hard, and he loves the business, and he really is smart, and he's a great coach too. He has a lot of insight into the business now as it is, I think, because of his work with AEW, whereas, you know, some of your old timers, they've been out for a long time and wrestling has changed.
Yeah, it's I think that TCW is coming around at a really good time also, because like in Atlanta, obviously there's a lot of wrestling interest, a lot of wrestling fans, and there are independent promotions like for instance, Jameson Ryan, known as Jack Jameson on Ring of Honor television. He was Nightmare Factory trained, and he ran Championship District Wrestling for a while. No longer runs those shows. There's places now where those kids can go now over to TCW and continue to wrestle. Same kind of thing with Baron Black, another guy who was trained by Cody, was running Battle Slam. That hasn't been around in a while. TCW is available now. Like, it's really cool. And I like to see so many of the names that I've seen around the Atlanta area. And even just in the Southeast, bringing Adam Priest in, I think was really smart because he's incredible. Just getting more eyes. Someone we talked about really briefly before we got started that was involved in the first show was Scotty Riggs, who we had on recently. Can you just speak a little bit to just kind of like the whole life transformation he's had recently?
We have kind of this inside joke about Dallas, Paige, that Dallas will invite you to lunch, but he's going to try to change your whole life. Like, he'll treat you to a meal, he'll invite you to his Christmas party, but he is going to want you to leave the best version of yourself. And Scotty, you know, and I have been connected on social media for a long time, and he was obviously in a bad way. I mean, he was in really bad shape. I think he was really honest about it. And just to see him not only looking so great, but, you know, there's something to be said about, you know, getting that kind of spark back, and this thing that you thought, you know, either it passed you by or, you know, that time in your life was over. You know, a lot of people still have a lot to give to the business. And I think Scotty's a great example of that. But just to see him doing so well, you know, even if he, you know, wasn't there to wrestle, was really touching, not surprising, because I had kind of talked to him and, you know, seen him. But when I saw him in person, I really couldn't believe, you know, the kind of years just rolled back, you know, with him getting his life together again.
We're gonna close on the Dusty Foundation, everything you got going on this weekend at WrestleCon. So let's get into it. This weekend, big weekend for the Rhodes family. It's been a big few weeks as The Rock has brought up Mama Rhodes. He's of course brought up Dusty. He has mentioned Cody is a mistake. He's brought up Dustin. He's not bringing up. I've noticed this now. He doesn't bring up you, and he doesn't bring up Brandy. He doesn't want any of that smoke.
That's for the best, because as we know, open mic night can happen anytime. And she's not ready. Yeah, but he definitely went in pretty hard on the Rhodes family. And you know, my mom was just kind of sitting at home, and she was like, what is happening right now? I mean, and then it's just, you know, become this whole thing. But one thing about Mama Rhodes is, you know, I don't think she's scared of The Rock. I don't. I think that she is, you know, she'll circle the wagons for sure.
Just, she's out here beating up people. You know, she's getting into fights at Willie Nelson concerts. Mama Rhodes will throw down.
That story that that he always tells. And my kids asked her about it. They call her Mimi. She's Mimi to the grandkids. And they're like, Mimi, did you hit a cop? Did you hit a police officer? And she just said, well, I didn't know she was a cop at the time. So I think, you know, she, back in the day, she got in some scrapes.
Now, I follow your Twitter, obviously, and I try to get your reactions kind of as things happen. You're kind of like a litmus test, almost kind of like the bat signal in a lot of ways of like the Cody Rhodes fan base. We all are like, okay, well, what's Teal thinking? And
I love that. Yes. I am Alfred to his Bruce Wayne.
Yes, sometimes. This is very important. This is a very important role. And we need guidance. I mean, I'm wearing a Rhodes Riot bracelet right now. I know you got one of these too.
I do have one. I don't have it on now, but I have one, and I have some foundation ones for everybody that stops by at WrestleCon too.
Amazing.
But I do, I like to see what is going on social media. And what is always interesting to me is you can't really, there's no way to like change what's happening. People think, oh, you're smart, you can kind of move things away from a certain direction. But I was like ready to ride for Cody on social media after some of the stuff that happened after the Rumble, but he didn't even need me. You didn't even need the bat signal. I think the little nightmares were deployed out there in a, real way, and they were ready to go. They didn't even need my help.
Yeah.
When Cody, so
yeah, go ahead, Jeremy.
Let's go back to, I think I'm having a little delay on connection. I apologize.
No problem.
Let's go back to February when Cody steps aside seemingly and is like, I'm going to take everything from you. Not at WrestleMania. Here comes The Rock. What is going through your mind as his sister watching that after you see him win the Royal Rumble and he calls out Roman Reigns?
Yeah, I mean, we were bummed. There was definitely a feeling of, I can't get too much into it, but that was a wild week, everything that was happening. And there was kind of that feeling of, oh, okay, so this is what it is. Cody's a, consummate professional. And we were all kind of like, okay, I guess, it is what it is. Right. And then everything that just obviously happened the way it did, kind of, I think I've said before, wrestling fans had a pretty good read on it, on what really was going down. So they didn't need, a lot of innuendo or, anything to figure out, that, things were changing fast.
Yeah. And I mean, good thing they did, because I mean, that was, I was one of the people that was very loud about my displeasure for the direction things were heading.
The great thing about wrestling, I think I even said this, is that wrestling's live. It's not like a TV series that's been filmed and, the creators know what the finale is going to be. So whether you like it or not, I was talking, I think, about Game of Thrones. That's what you got. That was your finale. But with this, wrestling fans really changed it in real time. And I think that what is so heartening and special is that it's because of the fans that we got back to the main event, or, that we, Cody, the family, we kind of all are in it together twice now. Now we got two nights, and I couldn't have guessed back, like you were saying in February, that was going to happen in a million years. I would have never thought that.
Were you around Cody at all, or like in like constant communication with him, like during that time period at all? And like, can you like talk at all? I know you can't peel the curtain back like too much, but like, can you get into his mind, like his personal mindset at all? Like, I can't believe this is happening to me. Like, they're actually like, I'm not going to be the main eventer. I won the Royal Rumble. Like, I mean, like, this is more than just a storyline.
He should have entered the Royal Rumble. That's really the thing. You should have went and entered the Royal Rumble. I mean, I think that, but as we know, that didn't happen. So to answer your question, we were in communication quite a bit. We were in Tampa for the Rumble. That's where all my family, all my moms, the Rubios are all in Tampa still. So that was, we were on the bus after, and things were, even that early, things were starting to change. And that's all I'll say, I think, about it.
Yeah, well, for whatever it's worth, like I remember last year before we had interviewed you, like I had posted something or other about Dusty Rhodes on Twitter, and we had spoken to each other in DMs about something that had to do with Dusty that I had posted from like my high school days. And I remember messaging you right after WrestleMania, maybe the day after or something. I was just like, man, I can't believe this happened to Cody. I can't. And I just remember your answer, all caps, huge bummer. That's not happening this year.
There's a picture. I've never put it out there, but it's all of us in the Sprinter van on the way back, stuck in traffic in LA after, Mania at SoFi, going back to downtown LA. My brother Dustin, Brandy's lovely parents, all of us on Ricky, QT, all of us on the bus, just like, it was sad. It's never fun to lose.
What's it been like these past few weeks? I'm not gonna lie, Cody's been taking a beating these past few weeks. I mean, 2 weeks ago, he gets bloodied up, whipped. Last night, gets whipped even more. Part of me, like, as someone who kind of feels like I know the mindset of Cody Rhodes based on interviews and stuff, he likes to bleed. He likes to, make it look good. So part of me is like, okay, well, he's enjoying the realism aspect of this. But then if you're a fan watching it, it's like, Cody's got to get one back here. Like,
I hope he does. I hope he does.
WrestleMania.
Yeah, I don't know that anybody likes getting whipped with that weight belt. I think that obviously it's Tuesday. What happened on Raw last night? I think, like a lot of fans, we're all hoping he gets one back, and soon.
Yeah. I mean, what's it been like just seeing the return of The Rock, and like just the idea? I know that The Rock, what he's doing to Cody is deplorable. I mean, obviously I hate seeing Cody get busted open and getting whipped the way he was and stuff. Like, I don't want to see that ever. But like, did you ever think that we'd be like living in a world where Cody and The Rock are like main eventing WrestleMania against one another? Because Cody was for people who might not know the timeline here, The Rock was already a well-established pro wrestler years and years into his career when Cody was still just in high school before he even got into the business. Like, this seemed like impossible.
It does. It's real life is stranger than fiction. And I hope that, one day the story of this will be told. But seeing The Rock as the main kind of, or, whatever he calls himself, the final boss against your little brother, like you said, different generation of pro wrestlers. And obviously, someone who crossed over and became such a huge star. And I don't think I could have ever pictured it, that he would want to come back in this way. But it doesn't surprise me, though, either, because I've been around the business my whole life. And I think every wrestler, as they get older, no matter how bright their star, has to kind of decide, what kind of legacy am I going to leave on the business? And it'll be interesting to see what happens Saturday and Sunday this weekend.
Will you be in front row there next to Mama Rhodes during this, or?
We have a family suite situation, and I would bet Mama Rhodes would be ringside for her. And Brandy and I, hopefully for his match on Sunday.
Okay. I'll see if Rock tries to go and give the weight belt to Mama Rhodes and Brandy is there. It's over for him.
Scary, right?
That's the person I'm not messing with at all. Yeah. Again, I think there's a reason why he has not mentioned you or Brandy in his promos, because he wants none of it.
It's wise. It's wise for sure. I don't know.
So, he did kind of like, it was almost adjacent. The mistake line. He was talking about Dustin. He was talking, and Kristen. That was the 20-year gap. Yeah. And you were quick to point out of like, me and Cody are only 3 years apart. Like,
hey, I just think if you're gonna weave a tale, obviously, fans picked up on some things with that line right away, and it's not kayfabe when you're talking about real people. Like, kayfabe's off the table then. So I didn't mind pointing out that he was inaccurate, and I think because me and my sister are not pro wrestlers, people think that we're the same person too. Even though there's such a big age gap. So I definitely let people know. I mean, I haven't been on Twitter all this time for The Rock just to ignore me in his promo. I'm I'm not going to stand for that.
This is why I said he is not mentioning you. He's not mentioning Brandy. He is like, nope, don't. I'm just going to pretend they don't exist, because if I mention them, it's over. That's the end.
Maybe you're onto something. Maybe it was, maybe somebody had clued him in the back, and they were like, maybe leave that one alone because she's a wild card. Which
don't mention Teal. You can go after Pharaoh. You can go after anybody you need to.
I mean, going after dogs, and it's it's been quite the climb.
Oh my gosh, I'm so pumped for this weekend. Okay, so what do you think? I mean, let me put it. I'll just rewind a little bit to Monday. I massively marked out whenever, and I'm going to use some wrestling terms here. I massively marked out when I saw Cody almost hit a rock bottom on the Rock on the announce table last night. Yeah. I was like, this is the most, because now you're teasing me. Like, Cody's got to hit a rock bottom on the Rock. The Rock is going to get his comeuppance massively. I feel like this whole family's going down. The whole bloodline's going down this weekend.
I hope so. I hope so. You and me, we're on the same wavelength of what I hope happens. And I hope I did hope last time though that we would come out on top, and it didn't go our way. And it's really amazing to see how many more fans, because people were like, that was a mistake, you're gonna lose all your goodwill, your momentum. And if anything, Cody just kept it rolling. He talks about moving the goalpost, and a year is a long time, and anything can happen in a year in wrestling and entertainment. So I'm just so excited and so glad for him that even more people are along for the story this time. So that makes it just something that I'm really looking forward to this weekend.
To the credit of Cody and everybody involved in the WWE, like, last year after WrestleMania, I was in that boat of like, I still would think he should have won, but like where we are now, like who could have imagined, like he is more popular than ever. Like he is clearly the next face of this company. And so what do you think Cody has to do to make sure that this isn't the same outcome this year? Like, do you have anything in mind that anyone you might need some help from, like anything at all that like maybe like, because Cody's got to, we don't know if it's going to be bloodline rules or not night two, but like he's got to be prepared for everything.
Well, I think I'm like a lot of fans in that I don't always, love Mr. Nice Guy. I don't mind, getting a little dirty, playing a little dirty, especially when you're playing with the bloodline. And if it is, we don't know what's going to happen on Saturday, but you're definitely going to need, to have some kind of plan B if it's bloodline rules, because that could get ugly real quick.
Yeah, we got a little tease of that on Monday, I think. So, yeah, sorry, go ahead, Jeremy.
Oh, I mean, look, they got cousins coming out of the woodwork over there. So Cody said he was prepared. He studied some game film. He had to know Solo was going to come back out last year. Like they don't ever play fair. They don't ever play fair.
They don't. But so maybe he doesn't this time. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe he has nobody's smarter at this than Cody. So I think that hopefully he learned some hard lessons from last year when it comes to dealing with the bloodline and Heyman.
They win on Saturday, and then you can kind of nip that in the bud right there, though, because then it's no bloodline.
But even
allegedly,
a Saturday win would be huge. That could be big, because that takes a lot of stress away from you. But I mean, we'll just have to see what happens. I have no idea.
Well, Jerry mentioned, the bloodline has all these like cousins coming out of the woodwork and stuff, and like, but the Rhodes family has some like I saw Dustin was just training some new Rhodes members. If you can talk about them a little bit.
I can. So that is Wayne and Wyatt Rhodes, and they're still really young. They just did their first camp at Rhodes Wrestling Academy there outside of Austin with Dustin, and those are my sister Kristen's boys, and they'll both be students at the University of Texas next year. The older one is already there, and his brother will be joining him. But they're great boys, and I really popped to see them in their promotional picture in their gear, and their vests were made, I believe, by the legendary Miss Sandra Gray. And it's just funny because it's like Sandra doesn't make gear anymore for people. Like, she maybe make it for 4 people. So I don't know how they pulled that off, but I thought that was really special. So I know maybe that's not their focus for now, but you know, I have a son and a daughter, and there's plenty of Rhodes grandbabies out there. And you know, we might be a little behind, but we still have people coming up in the game for sure.
You mentioned, you know, the attire. Have you gotten a sneak peek at all of what Cody's going to be wearing this weekend?
Not the robe. I have seen both weight belts. I actually think he posted one today, kind of a mashup of him and Seth. And Seth is doing such amazing work, by the way. Seth was amazing last night on Raw. I just really felt like he's clicked into another gear. And for them all to be in the ring together, I thought that was a really awesome moment, just on a secondary. Seth's not always my favorite, but I will give credit where credit's due. I thought that he was amazing last night in the crowd and then in the ring later. But sorry, what was your question?
The gear.
I don't even remember. Oh, the gear. I'm sorry. I forgot the question too. I started thinking about Seth Rollins and how great he's been lately. I was thinking about Seth.
I went on a whole nother rant, but I haven't seen the robe. I know it's going to be epic, but there is something special, sentimental on his weight belt for Sunday, and I'll let it be like a little surprise. But it's a sweet family thing that he did.
Will you be seeing any of the other Cody supporters in the, like, have you be seeing like the wrestling club? Like, I know you keep up with them, and they'll be at WrestleMania.
I do. I hope to see them. We obviously, I want to talk to you guys about WrestleCon, have our big weekend for the Dusty Rhodes Foundation. But I do hope at some point I get to see some of the old school Nightmare Factory. There's some what I call the original generals out there, and then some of the new fans that just have been reaching out on Twitter and stuff as well. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, so let's talk about WrestleCon and what you're doing with the Dusty Rhodes Foundation. I know you're also working with Ricky Starks and Dustin Rhodes. You got the Mama Rhodes t-shirts that'll be there as well. So just tell us about everything that's going on this weekend at WrestleCon.
Thank you so much. So we'll be at WrestleCon. We kind of have 2 booths for the Dusty Rhodes Foundation. Friday, Dustin will be signing starting at 10. And Dustin's on the board of the foundation. He's never signed for us before. And this is the first time Dustin has signed kind of near, you know, a big WWE attached event. And I just think he's going to do really well. So many fans, I think, are excited to see him. And, you know, he's so great with the fans. Obviously, my mom and I will be there both days. My kids help out. We have some Nightmare Factory students that will be there helping us as well. But the Dusty Rhodes Foundation really is a group family effort. And this year, all of our proceeds from WrestleCon, Ricky Starks is signing for us again on Saturday. He's starting a little sooner. He's starting at 9 o'clock, and we'll be there with him as well. We are raising money this time for Beat the Streets Philly, which is an awesome after-school program for amateur wrestling. And we can hopefully get them a whole nother mat room finished out, because that's a growing program that they have. But the schools in Philly are some of the most underfunded in the country. And some of these kids are really high risk. They've had kids in the program go on to wrestle on the collegiate level, and they have, like us, very, very little overhead. So a lot of your money is going just right to service this awesome program. So we're really excited about that. And we'll have the Mama Rhodes t-shirts. Those should be up on PWTs soon. I thought it was last week, but I actually think it'll be this Friday. And we've got some all kinds of stuff. Just come say hi. You can have your picture with Mama Rhodes for sure. We'll have one of Cody's ring worn robes. That's kind of hard to say, for photo ops. And we'll have a signed weight belt raffle both days.
That sounds awesome. No, that's awesome.
We're excited.
I've been posting some clips of Cody wrestling in high school recently.
Yeah, I saw. Those are awesome.
I'm glad that I have your support on those. I don't want to be like too weird posting these like videos that I've been sitting on for the last like 22 years.
Old grainy videos.
Yeah, it really is. Like, so I found like the highlight videos and like actual VHS tapes. So like I just have like clips here and there, and like Cody's in a lot of them. And you had mentioned that the foundation was going to be helping with amateur wrestling and stuff like that, and I just thought that was really cool. What are your I guess since you're helping with that, what are some of your favorite moments of seeing Cody wrestling back in high school? I know obviously you won state championships, and that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, I was in college because we're 3 years apart, so really it was just seeing him win the big ones, because those were the only ones I was back for. But I think you and I have spoken before how he kind of became this like hometown sports hero. But here in the South, it's really more, football, baseball. Those are your big sports that get the most, or especially back then, it was really football, Friday Night Lights. That's kind of all your coverage you were getting from a high school sports standpoint. So that was really new in our area to see so much coverage being given to amateur wrestling. I didn't know a lot about it. And that's why it's been great through the Dusty Foundation that we've been able to help. We've actually been able to help with a lot of girls programs. And back when Cody wrestled, there would maybe be one girl for every 5-6 schools at a meet. And now there's whole girl programs, which is just, and they're generally pretty underfunded too. And the great thing about donating to amateur wrestling in particular is they don't have a lot of equipment. I mean, it's singlets, mats, some safety gear, and some coaching and training. And that's really it.
Teal, we appreciate you joining us tonight. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time. I know you got a busy week ahead. Once again, let everybody know.
Before we do that, I'm sorry, Jeremy. Before we do that, I got something really quick for you, Teal. I just wanted you to leave one last message out here before we wrap up, because this is important to me. There are a subsection of fans, actually a pretty large section of fans. There are actually people out there that think that Roman Reigns should defend this title and retain in the main event of WrestleMania. There are people out there that actually think that we should have to go through all this again this year at WrestleMania. There are people that actually think it's a good idea for Roman Reigns to leave as the champion. I don't think
they're real.
Oh, no, Teal. One's among us right now, and his name's Jeremy Lambert. Jeremy, explain to Teal why you think Roman should actually win. Yeah, Jeremy's a total traitor. Have this energy now, Jeremy. I argue with him about this all the time.
I don't believe that about Jeremy, especially after
Thank you.
I came on and was so charming. And
yeah,
I think that Jeremy, if he felt that way before, certainly doesn't feel that way now, because he knows it would draw my ire, and nobody wants that.
I don't know if you remember when you and I have actually exchanged messages before where you thought I was not being nice to Cody and I was praising him. So I do not want to draw that ire. I have to argue with Jensen. It's a show isn't fun if I'm just like, I agree, Cody should win. That would be great. It's more fun if we have a little banter back and forth. So that's all I'm doing.
There are some very verbal Roman fans, but I just think they're like AI or something. I don't really. There's like something about like their little blue check marks and their pictures that they just don't. I just choose to believe that. I don't think they're real, and I think also that it's fun to be like, kind of a detractor sometimes. And that's in all sports. Like you're always going to have like, who is better, Mickey Mantle or, Willie Mays. Like it's fun to debate. But I think when you're saying, Roman should retain, I mean, he's had that thing forever. I mean, forever. So I think that those are mostly not real accounts.
I will say it on record. I've said it before as Jensen tries to throw me under the bus
He
here.
did.
I think Cody should win. I think the best story is Cody winning. He is the face of the company, but
Yes.
I do not have the story attachment that certainly Jensen does. And if Roman wins, I will have to just be okay with that.
You know, I will reluctantly accept that, but I think that, you know, it's time for something new, and it's time for a new champ. And I always like a fighting champ. I like a champ that defends their title. I like it at a house show. I like it on a TV match. So I come to wrestling. Yes, you know, the promos are great. The talking is great. You know, the aura now that's the big thing. I don't know if I even like that word, but I'm there to see the fights. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you know,
I said it, Jensen. I was going to be a coward. I want no smoke with Teal. I want no smoke with Brandy. I'm smart like The Rock.
Yeah.
I know who not to mess with out here.
Well,
Cody should win.
Yeah, Cody should
we're
win.
good. We're straight. We're good.
Yes. Well, you know, your pin tweet right now is something that I had a picture I took on at Raw. The Our Dads Cheered for Dusty, We Cheer for Cody picture, which I think is incredible. You know, and just kind of on that note, I just want everyone to know, I want you to know, if Cody ever happens to see or hear this, I have never been invested in anything in my entire life as much as I'm invested in this weekend, ever.
Same.
When it comes to any sports, anything in my life.
True.
So like, this is it.
You know, for some wrestling families might be different than the Rhodes. Some wrestling families, maybe it's a job. I don't know, but it's not for us. And it's because of the connection now of multi-generational wrestling fans that have spent their hard-earned money, especially these days in this economy, to come and see Cody at the show. The thing that connects Cody, Dustin, and my dad the most, they're very different in some ways, is that they took that really seriously. If someone spent their money to come and see them at the matches, it's a little sentimental of me, but it is true.
That's great. And that's all I'll end on that. You know, that's for myself before we wrap up. Thank you very much for joining us.
Do you want to run the bus back over me, Jensen?
No,
real
dude,
quickly?
you knew that was coming. Your doomsday was eventually coming. You've been asking for that for months now. Actually, for over a year. I mean,
I have.
So yeah.
Well, come say hi. Anybody at Philly? We'll be at WrestleCon both Friday and Saturday, and I'm just looking forward to seeing all the fans and having fun interacting this weekend in Philadelphia, which I don't think I've ever been to. So I'm excited to see what Philly has to offer.
Well, do you know how you're going to celebrate Cody's win? Do you have like a dinner plan or like a celebration plan?
No, we don't at all. We do have a dinner planned before, when everybody gets in, and his schedule is so crazy. I think before you came on, I did mention to Jeremy something I'm really proud of. Cody is, I believe, granting 19 Make-A-Wishes just on Friday alone, and bringing those kids into the, what they call their circle. And I think we're going to try to do a family dinner, but I don't even know if Cody will be able to come, but we'll make him pay, so it's fine.
Well, that's what the face of the company does. Do those Make-A-Wishes. Sorry, go ahead, Jeremy. We're going to close the show now. All right.
One last time, let everybody know where they can find you at, where they can find the Dusty Rhodes Foundation at. Anything else you want to get out there?
Awesome. So you can find me always on Twitter at Teal Margaret, and you can learn more about the Dusty Rhodes Foundation that helps raise money for underprivileged kids to play sports. And we're at thedustyrhodesfoundation.org. You can donate there, and you can find us at the Dusty Rhodes Foundation on Facebook and Instagram as well. And we post pretty regularly, and we also post a lot of updates about where we've given the money you donated away, and it's all tax deductible, of course. And yes, we'll be at WrestleCon Friday and Saturday, both mornings, starting about 9:30.
And guys, check out Turnbuckle Championship Wrestling as
Yes,
well. The
please.
first show that's on YouTube. All the links are below. The links to the
Yes, it's at the
foundation.
Nightmare Family YouTube channel for our next show. And hopefully we'll have another TCW show, hopefully at the end of April.
Okay. All the links are below. You can check out the foundation, check out the first episode of Turnbuckle Championship Wrestling. Follow Teal on Twitter. Do not get on her bad side. You don't want the smoke. You don't want it. Thank you so much, Teal. Thank you so much for your time tonight.
Sure.
Have fun this weekend. Good luck. And guys, we'll be right back here on the Spotlight.